Welcome to another Cowbell Live series, Meet the Instructors. I have Mickey and Kelly here with me today, all the way from Knoxville, Tennessee. How are you doing, Mickey and Kelly?
Hello, everybody. Doing great.
Yeah, hanging in there.
Let's get into a little bit of your history, your dance history together. What is your most embarrassing experience as a dance instructor?
I wish I had like a very specific story that was like that I remember.
Surely, as many harangues and other crazy dance camps we've been to, I'm like, surely there's.
I don't have like a big hungover moment or any of that stuff. All I have is like a series of times that I was teaching something. And then you have that point. I feel like this happens to every teacher to some extent. You realize that you've taught it, but it's on the complete wrong count, and you have to make that decision, and you look over at your partner, and Kelly will give me that
like, I don't think this is what we
like, where are you going with that look? And in your mind, you have to make that decision. Like, do you just keep teaching your new move that you are now literally making up? Or do you tell the class, oh, that's the wrong count. I'm an idiot. Let's work this out right now in front of everybody. And
we've done both. I know we've done both scenarios.
I've definitely done both.
Where we just roll with it, or we're like, give us 5 seconds to work this. We're gonna play a song. Give us 5 seconds to work this out, and then we'll get back to it.
What are you most excited for with Cowbell Live?
I think for me, the cool thing about Cowbell is, like we were saying before, we're gonna see some of these people who we haven't seen in a long time, from all over the place in classes. And you think, it is on a computer, and so you have to scroll through to see who's there, but it is really cool to do it live and to have the interaction and to see people working, even if it's on a screen.
It makes a difference. I love it, rather than just feeling like you're talking to just a camera. When you actually get to interact and see some of those people, which I'll take virtual over nothing. And I love being able to see them.
Learning not to say rotate is tough.
What positive change has happened in your lives in the last year?
We adopted a new dog just a few months ago. June is her name, and love her so much. So it's been, and Mickey especially loves her.
She's insane.
She loves Mickey. I'll say that. She's insane. Yeah.
In a good way. Well, it's the first time in a long time Kelly and I have lived in the same area. So the ability to actually work with a regular partner is really, really nice.
Yeah. I think for me, kind of in line with that, the positive change would be having Mickey move to my same city, which again, we haven't lived in the same city in years and years. But yeah, I'd say just kind of like Mickey too, just feeling very fortunate that I have a comfortable house with my husband and with some friends and family who I still can see and spend a little bit of time with here. And I know, a lot of people have been dealing with a lot of stuff this past year. So I do feel very fortunate to have what I have. And I think with the times that we're dealing with, it makes you realize that when you do things that you may have taken for granted, that, you do appreciate those more too.
So what changed the most when you two had to start teaching separately?
I found that when I stopped traveling with Kelly so much, I used to teach, like a lot of moves and a lot of turns and things like that. But when I stopped teaching with Kelly, I missed all the playful stuff. And so my focus like dramatically shifted towards like giving your follows space and like making them like affect your dancing, which is so interesting because I didn't think of it at the time as being directly related, but it totally was. Yeah. Once you lose the person who has a lot to say, then you miss someone saying something. And that's huge.
Yeah, I feel like, for a lot of us partnerships, kind of like what you were saying with Jeremy as well, when you get so used to the certain dynamic with that person and you're used to like, well, they always bring the music. And so they always handle the counting and the rotating. And then the other person always does when you don't have them. And now you're like, oh crap, I didn't realize all the things that other person did that now you have to kind of figure out and take on for yourself more. So I think that definitely happens a lot.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, which dance is your favorite between Lindy, Bal, Shag, and Blues? Which is your favorite and why?
My favorite would have to be Balboa. I just, for me, and I guess there's part of that connection and closeness, literal connection with some Shag and some Blues as well. But for me, the close connection of Balboa, and Mickey and I, we joke about it, but not joke about it. It's true in a lot of our classes where when you're connected with the partner like that, you feel everything that's awesome and you feel everything that's not great, you know, but that's how you start to really learn how subtle certain things can be, but how they can still affect your partner. And the conversation again that you can have with your partner is just amplified so much with Balboa. And I feel like over the years as well, you know, we've been around for enough years now to see even just how much it's progressed and changed over the years. But the amount of voice and conversation I see coming from followers, so much more that now than I feel like it used to be, where, you know, it felt like I had to kind of fight for that voice a little bit more. And now I feel like it's becoming more and more mainstream. To me, I love being able to see that people are really focusing on that connection more. You know, we start with just like figuring out what are the feet doing, and then what is my body doing, and then trying to figure out how you're doing it with a partner, I think has come a long way over the past few years. And so my love for Balboa just stems from all of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, it's similar. I mean, like it's Balboa more, and also Bal swing, to be a little bit more specific, or swing in general, because there's enough there where you have the base and the structure, and to some degree, you know, the people who love the old clips are kind of sleuthing and like looking for, you know, what it was, but there's also this huge space to create. And in that we aren't given so much, like there's not so much there that you can't add to it. And for me, like the ability to add and to contribute to a dance, like actually put things in that are then normal. I don't think people realize how much of what we all do is not in any clip. Yeah. And it's not so obvious, you know, like we're not breaking away and doing a bunch of solo jazz specifically, you know, but we are still doing things that, you know, I feel like Lindy Hoppers maybe got to a while ago, you know, and we're still finding ways to insert it into this dance and make it interesting and make it grow instead of it being like a dead language. And that for me is the most exciting part. Yeah. So I find that really interesting and exciting. And I love watching the rest. And I actually love dancing to blues music. I would say like I like dancing to blues music to some degree, maybe even more. But I like dancing Bal swing and Balboa also because I've contributed so much of my life and my heart to it. Yeah.
Those are great answers. I love that, and I like the idea of dancing to different styles of music as well, and pushing our art form.
Alrighty, take care, Laura. Thanks again.
Yep, have a good one.
Thanks, see you. Bye. Take care. Cowbell Live is happening very soon. Make sure you sign up so you can take classes with Mickey and Kelly at cowbell.live. Take care and Happy New Year. This story is too good not to tell. Mickey and Kelly, please tell me a story about one of the craziest experiences you've had while on the road.
So, story time about being a teacher and some of the things that you might encounter.
Yeah, hopefully you never encounter this.
But we don't want to say you won't, because it is an important part of the business is to be able to deal with random situations. For instance, there was this time where we went to an unnamed event, which does not have a name.
Right.
Run by an unnamed organizer who also doesn't have a name, which is weird because usually you have organizers with both names.
It's in a country that doesn't have a name either.
Yeah, which is crazy. Anyway.
But it was a swing dance event, multi-night event.
And we were put in to sleep in the same room as another group of people who we did not know. So usually you'll be there with a teacher, but this is like a random couple of attendees.
So generally, as you know, as an instructor, and it depends, we prefer, since Mickey and I are not a couple, prefer our own bed. But sometimes we are put into a bed together, which is still okay. But generally, then you would at least get put in a room with other instructors, or you'd at least know who it is. And we were just randomly put with people going to the event who we did not know.
Which is normally fine, unless. So. I was at this event, and I had choreographed a piece for some people, and at a certain time of night, you know, I was in bed, and Kelly had fallen asleep, and I was just like typing to people, waiting for this time that I could go down and practice, because you know you don't always have floor time, right?
So their practice was going to be in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and at this point, Kelly is asleep.
No, at this point, I went to the bathroom to try to sleep because this
No,
person was
we haven't
snoring.
gotten there yet. Because she's jumping the gun over here.
I tried to make it this not a million, hours long.
So we have our call time. I go downstairs. Kelly's still upstairs sleeping, and then just before I leave, one of the roommates comes in, and he looks like super wasted, super drunk, like next level drunk. And I'm like, well, that poor person is gonna have a tough morning. So I leave. I come back, and when I come back, Kelly's gone. This guy is snoring like a crazy person, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what happened to Kelly. That's super odd. So I get back on the bed, and I'm typing to whoever I'm typing to, and then I just hear this like this kind of growling, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Poor guy. And then this person gets out of bed and like stumbles in front of me. Like, here's the bed, and here's like the luggage rack. This guy stumbles over to the luggage rack and throws the luggage on the floor. And then Keat is looking right at me.
The luggage being my luggage. It was Mickey's, and it was our luggage rack.
Yes, that was. It's true. That is important. He then proceeds to drop trow and sit down on the luggage rack. And I'm like typing like,
the guy's looking at Hester. Look, he's facing you.
And I'm thinking, oh shit, what's going on? And all of a sudden, I hear like these little fart noises, and I'm like, oh dear Lord! So I sprint off of the bed. And I'm like, hey, this guy's gonna take a dump on the luggage rack.
And my clothes, which were underneath the luggage rack on the floor.
I'm like, hey, this is not a bathroom. You need to go to the bathroom. And he's like. He said
this bathroom's lame. There's no toilet paper.
There's no toilet paper. And I'm like, screw this. And so I go to the bathroom and I open and it's locked. And I'm like, oh crap. What is it locked? I knock on the door.
I had gone into the bathroom to try to sleep because the guy was snoring so loud. So I was laying on the bathroom floor and I hear a knock and I'm like, Mickey, I'm trying to sleep. And you're like, you go, the guy's shitting. And I go, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, literally, open the door. He's shitting right now.
Yeah.
And so I opened the door, and the smell, the room, oh God, it was just so bad. But Mickey had kind of stopped him before he.
Yeah, and he's like, oh,
went.
He's still asking about the toilet paper. And he's like, this isn't like a bathroom, it's like a half bath. Or something like that, and I yell at Kelly. I'm like, open the damn door. He's gonna take a dump on the luggage rack, and she goes, my clothes are in there or under there. I'm thinking, oh no! I added layer to an obviously already terrible story.
Oh my God!
And so I run over, and he's like apologizing, and I get him to get up, and I throw him into the bathroom. I was like, you do what you need to do. And Kelly has to go. She's like trying to check.
I'm checking my clothes.
To check the damage.
Yeah, sure, there was nothing on it. Oh God, that was awful.
Was there damage, Kelly?
I don't know. There was no damage. You caught it just in time.